Yeah, as a kid, it was really all I ever wanted to do. My grandfather was a paratrooper in World War II. He earned the Bronze Star and a Purple Heart. He lost his leg at the Battle of the Bulge. And my father was in the Army during Vietnam. So it was definitely something that was in my family, and I felt it was a calling to me growing up. I never really had a desire to do anything else. Yeah, on November 8th, 2004, I was in an Amtrak vehicle heading into the city of Fallujah. It'd be the first night of the Second Battle of Fallujah. We crossed a large open field, and we were hit by a daisy chain of improvised explosive devices. As it struck the vehicle, we had several wounded, a few severely, and we got out to return fire to get the wounded evacuated, and an RPG came in, and that's when I was knocked unconscious and removed from the battlefield. I mean, the Battle of Fallujah was just one of those situations that, the Marine Corps and the United States military hadn't seen in a very long time. I mean, since the Battle of Waste City. Day in and day out, we kicked down doors. Civilians were evacuated from the city completely. There was nothing but insurgents in the city, and they were ready to fight. So every day we went out, it was just clearing houses, and you never know what's on the other side of the door. And a lot of times there was another guy there that wanted to kill you. So the guys that fought in that battle, I mean, those are my heroes. They did things that you never expect to do in your military career, but at no time did I ever see anyone scared or wanted to go home or anything like that. I actually had a Gold Star mother ask me one time, was it so horrible over there? And of course, war is a horrible thing that I wish no one had to ever experience, but I always try to tell her, in my memory, we had more good times than bad. Being together just somehow made it bearable, and we turned a negative into a positive. At some point after your military career, you lose sight of the person that you were, the person that could do anything and could run, until they passed out and, could go to war and fight. But when you get back with those guys, you realize that that's who you were, and that's still who you are. And I think it's that teamwork and being together that makes you, find that person again. I honestly, for a long time, didn't keep in contact with anyone. I just kind of pretended like, not that I wasn't ever in, but that part of my life was behind me. And then my wife actually had me go to a reunion, and it was like just an eye-opener. It was like, this is who I am. This is, where I belong. And since then, I've got myself back into good shape, and I feel definitely a lot better, and I have that great support system that I can call someone anytime, and I know they're going to be there. So I think it's a huge step in taking care of yourself the right way. Yeah, I wanted to stay in the Marine Corps, so being where I am today is kind of like a dream come true, and having kids was another step into that healing process. Being a husband and a father is probably the most important job that you'll have in your life, probably even more important than being a Marine. So, you're in charge of their safety and, grooming them to be good people. I think that's, brings back a big sense of purpose to your life. Yeah, Reunite the Fight is an organization I started with, my good friend and a Marine I served with in Fallujah, Scott Gatto, came to all of us with the idea, and we all jumped on board right away. It was 4 of us who fought in the Battle of Fallujah together. And we just realized that reuniting guys who served together in the military, was definitely something that was a part of the healing process. Our first event was a Spartan Beast in South Carolina. There was about 30 of us, many of us combat wounded, some amputees, and the feeling of getting us all back together and completing that course with all the obstacles in the way. It was 12.5 miles with obstacles. Getting through that together just gave us all that sense of pride and sense of belonging. And Neopat's been one of those amazing organizations that's done so much for veterans that I could never thank them enough for what they do for us. Purple Heart is just one of those things, you know, it's not really something everyone wants to get, but at the same time, I think it represents, you know, dedication that so many men and women had to their country and the sacrifices that they were willing to make. Sacrifices, you know, way more than I've made, but I think it shows the things that our service members are really willing to give up so that we can live and be free the way that we are today. And it just reminds me of, you know, how lucky I am to be able to take my kids, you know, around and do things like that. And we owe it to those men and women that made the ultimate sacrifice. And, you know, those are the real heroes, and those are the people that, like I said, they'll always be my hero.